Good morning, Katie Bean. How are you?
Good morning, Jen. I'm doing well. How are you today?
I am so good. And for those of you who don't know, this is Katie Bean. She's the CEO of Katie Bean and Company here at Keller Williams Integrity Lakes Realty and my boss lady.
Don't use that.
Boss lady, I like it.
Lady. Okay.
Today's topic is FHA loans. And I love this. And I talk about it all the time because I feel like we need to not only educate our clients, but educate other real estate agents out there
Yes,
that it has a stigma and it needs to end.
I agree completely, Jen. There's a lot of fantastic buyers out there that aren't even being considered right now because of FHA financing, and it's a discredit to so many. These are great buyers with great ability to pay back loans and have a fantastic transaction, and unfortunately, it's hard for them to compete right now.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people wonder why somebody would choose an FHA loan over conventional. And a lot of it has to do with lower interest rates. It has a lower credit score. And I don't know if I've ever talked to you about it, but a credit score is an alternative monetary device, like an alternative form of currency. And so people don't always buy in or pay attention to their credit, where they're more concerned like about cash is king.
Correct.
So there can be some disconnect there, you guys.
Yeah, it's so true. So, it's interesting right now with some of our FHA buyers who have chosen to go FHA. So that's the other thing. Sometimes it's a choice. It doesn't even necessarily mean you can't be conventional buyer. FHA just might be the better product for you. For instance, maybe you don't want to take a bunch of cash and put it into a house right now. Maybe you have cash allocated for other purposes, investing and stuff, and you want to buy with a little down payment. It's not a bad idea in today's market where rates are so low, right? So I'm a proponent of keeping cash in the bank. Keep the cash that you have and maybe borrow more than you might in other markets. The other topic that I think needs to be talked about is student loan debt. That's a big one that's pushing people into FHA loans because of the debt to income ratio.
Yes.
And I think that's a tough one. And so we, for our clients, have had to really make a plea with sellers and their agents to say, here's why our client has decided to use FHA financing, right? And try to kind of explain the scenario so that they're not feeling as if this person's a risk, because that's rarely the case. They qualify perfectly.
Yeah, well, and it's not even, I feel so bad. Okay. Being on the board of so many like condos, things like that in my life, I hear older board members talking about they don't want FHA loans and they restrict them a lot inside condos and townhome associations. Sometimes you guys, depending upon how the declaration is written, a townhome actually could be a condo. So make sure you talk to somebody who knows. But I've actually heard, and this is so heartbreaking, I've actually heard older members of some boards call FHA loans ghetto and that they don't want them used. And you guys, that is totally not the case at all.
No, it's not. It's just another financing option. And here's the thing that we have to put the trust in, that lenders have guidelines that don't allow people to get into loans that can't afford them. We had that before. We had that where people are getting into products that maybe were dangerous for them. They really couldn't afford this property. Mortgages there's so many guidelines. They're so heavily restricted that if somebody's made it through this process to get a pre-approval letter, the homework's been done.
Yep, those subprime mortgages, people had no problem buying into those, did they?
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, they accepted those no problem. Nobody even talked about that, did they? What type of loan somebody had. But now it's a big deciding factor, and it really isn't fair,
So I have some slides pulled up here. I'm going to share my screen of like the history of FHA. Let me see if it'll work. It's doing this thing where it's paused.
Oh.
It's done this to me before. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. FHA. Here is the HUD website. I wonder if it'll pop up. So it makes me do this twice. And it basically talks about how FHA was developed back in 1934 to protect housing, because housing is a fundamental right.
Absolutely.
And everybody deserves a solid place to live that they can call home. And they just wanted to be able to help provide families an avenue. The U.S. government wanted to provide an avenue for U.S. home buyers to secure a permanent residence.
Correct. It's amazing. It's been around that long. Isn't that something?
It is something. So this does not, HUD pays for itself. Okay. It operates from self-generating income, and it's not used like the Federal Reserves, which is both private and publicly owned. This is 100% a government agency that it's an insurance program that insures mortgages.
Correct.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, it was huge in community development, and it trickled down. See here how HA is funded here, which trickled down to local communities in the form of jobs, building supplies, tax bases, schools. So a lot of property taxes go back into the school system. So everybody that has children has an interest in the property values.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really interesting. These products are there to help people. It's just that's the thing, it's another form. So I love that you're bringing up this discussion, because not only is it important for people that are buying right now to understand that product, it's important people that are selling right now that might be receiving offers with this. And it's really important, like you said, for agents to inform both parties, right? And a lot of dialogue needs to happen between agents right now too.
Yep. And that's, so the biggest issue, and I have some articles that I can share in the comments, application window. Here we go, Word document. So I have this lovely Word document. So this is an FHA inspection checklist. And I think that this is what scares a lot of agents. They're worried that there's going to be a lot of repairs needed. However, a lot of this stuff, like a septic system, so they want the toilets to flush. Essentially, they will go in and flush your toilets. No underground storage tanks. Like, they'll check. We don't have termites here in some neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's not going to be applicable, right?
Right. And I've seen roofs that I would consider questionable pass. I come from a roofing family. But however, people don't know that a conventional loan also has a list as well. And I have had them come back with repairs on conventional loans as well. Right.
Yeah, nothing's safe. If something's really dilapidated in a house, a lender or an appraiser is going to call it out, right? If it's something they don't feel comfortable lending money on. One of the things too, I don't think people always realize is, even with FHA or conventional for that matter, if something's called out by an appraiser that needs to be fixed, there's ways around that. It doesn't mean the loan is dead, right? It just means we need to come up with a solution, and there's plenty of solutions out there. We just need to get creative, and there's ways to do it. For instance, peeling paint's one we always talk about, right? Well, in the middle of the winter in Minnesota, nobody's correcting peeling paint, but yet those properties still close. We just escrow funds and we deal with it when the weather turns around. So certainly doesn't mean that the transaction stops in its tracks.
Absolutely. Or, even switching to an FHA 203K, and being able to wait on that until after close, and then it's already included.
Right.
The thing that I love about FHA loans, and I think as a buyer, which is really beneficial in what we saw earlier last year when we saw the big boom in refinances,
Yeah.
is that an FHA doesn't go through traditional refinancing. It goes through something called a streamline, where they don't need an appraisal. They don't need a second verification of income. And there's one more thing. Let me peek at it again. Beep boop beep boop beep boop boop. And it's just so interesting. No new credit score, no new appraisal, and no new income verification with an FHA streamline refinancing. So what that means is they'll actually just take your loan and they'll send you a piece of paper. I know I have done this before,
Yeah.
and it just drops your mortgage down to the new one. It's really I call them because I was like, this is too easy.
It's too easy.
Damn, right? And they're like, no, legit.
Yeah, right. And something to take advantage of. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's anybody that's in an FHA, well, anybody that's in any loan right now, take a look at your rate. Talk to your lender because you may have an opportunity to recast that mortgage and save yourself. Again, these rates are just phenomenal. Definitely take advantage of them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And here's the great part we talked about credit score and debt to income. And these are just so great. And it does have, let me pull this up here. It does have down payment requirements, but it's a 3.5%. Right? So it's so great. So not only can you get in for, what's the DTI on an FHA? Do you remember?
I'm not sure what it is right now. I believe
51, I feel like.
Okay.
And I feel like a conventional is like 49.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on these things, you guys. I am a real estate agent and not.
Talk to your lender, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but it tells you the flexibility there, right? Between 620 to 580 to either get a house or not get a house, right? That's the difference here.
Well, okay, so now let's back up. And so FHA has other branches, USDA and the VA loan. So, and both of those products are 0 down, which are also really great. For instance, I have a client who needs to find a home and she's out in Belle Plaine, and most of Belle Plaine, in fact, most of the outside of the cities, within a half an hour drive, qualify for a USDA loan.
Right. And it's so interesting because that's not something most agents or lenders even talk about unless it's really, really rural. Right. So get some education.
Yeah, you just have to go to their website and look at it. It's got a heat map. It's really great, and it has the same FHA appraisal guideline. Now let's back up, because an appraisal looks like an inspection, but it is not an inspection.
Correct. Yeah. What they're doing is verifying the house, right? So I just explained it as the pre-approval process is approving the buyer or buyers. The appraisal is approving the house, the value of the house. Inspection is a very different thing and much needed most of the time. Obviously, we're seeing having conversations around that right now in this market. But yes, your appraisal is very different than your inspection.
Yeah. And so the appraisal, Minnesota is a buyer beware state. So we highly recommend getting an inspection. What you choose to do with that inspection is entirely up to you, the buyer. Similar to the appraisal for the loan, it's entirely up to the bank what they choose to do with that. So
that's right. Exactly. Good advice. That's exactly right. We want people to have them, and beyond that, again, it's the information you should have based on purchasing. It's a big purchase. Right?
What kind of things do you educate your sellers on as far as accepting FHA loans?
Sure. So really, it's basically kind of the conversation we're having right now, just explaining what it is, right? Right now, I mean, any given house that's in good condition and stuff won't be an FHA issue, right? The most standard homes, it's not going to be a problem. So really, then what we're looking for is what other terms of an offer match what you're looking for, right? Are you getting the dollar amount you want? Are you getting the closing time frame that you want? What else is structured in here that's also appealing and not putting so much pressure on the loan product, right? An offer is much more than one entity, right? It's a, you talk about putting the package together. It's all these little things that make up a whole package. So looking at all those other entities and making a decision based on all of it, not discrediting a pile of offers because you don't understand the loan product.
Right. Now, when it comes to accepting offers, the law is for sellers and as agents is that we have to forward every single offer to our clients the moment we get it.
Absolutely. That's right.
So we're not allowed to hold on to them and look through them and
oh gosh, no.
show them. So
no, every offer is presented. I would say most agents probably like myself have the practice of putting together incredible spreadsheets with lots of attachments, and we go through these. Every element of an offer is important and to be compared with the others for strength. So it's and for sellers right now, many aren't, it's not just one offer. You might be sorting through 10 or 12 offers, right? So really comparing the nuts and bolts of them to see what's the best match.
Yeah, it's true. And it can be really overwhelming, but our job is to like show every single one. So all the FHA offers, all the conventional offers must be seen by the seller's eyes.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're running a little long today.
We are.
Chat your ears off. I'm going to peek to see what our topic is. Now, Henry is going to be with me next Monday.
Great. Oh, I love it. Excellent.
He and I next Monday are going to be talking about second homes. So like
excellent.
Other cities, things like that. But you and I, the following Monday on the 26th, will be talking about association dues.
Outstanding. Yes. Another important factor of home ownership, right?
Not the truth. You get what you pay for.
It's true. Like so many things. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome, you guys. Stay tuned on Wednesday. B&V will be on talking about our favorite parks. Okay. See you later.
Bye.